Hey folks, welcome to their 8th casual conversation with Santos. Appreciate everyone coming. We'll start today with the weekly quote.
Hey folks, welcome.
Let's turn that down, huh? Alright. If ever a time should come when vain and aspiring men and women, I think this quote should be altered, men and women shall possess the highest seats in government, our country will stand in need of its experienced patriots to prevent its ruin. That was said from Samuel Adams, one of our founding fathers. As everyone knows, my name is Robert Santos, and today we're going to cover a few things. One of the biggest things I want to cover today is, first let's keep in mind, this program is a little new, so bear with me if I'm a little slow at bringing up a banner or lowering it down. So let's get rid of this thing. Alright, a lot of people have been asking questions. They've been hearing rumors of the supposed in-person voting that's going on. Is it true? Is it false? Are there restrictions? Alright, we're back. Sorry, technical difficulties. This is a new program. We'll have it squared out by Monday. As I was saying, a lot of individuals were under the impression that there is still going to be in-person voting on the 28th of April. That is true, however, it is huge restrictions on who it is. Now, what they state is there will be in-person voting. It'll be limited and only for severely disabled individuals and for individuals who don't have any home addresses. What that entails, who knows? My best bet, I would say, is their qualifications that they would consider disabled may not be what we consider disabled. So I would highly suggest you contact them, and even so, I wouldn't wait till the last minute. I mean, look what happened last time for those who waited to do in-person voting. DeWine canceled it, or he closed down the locations, which resulted in a huge gaggle that was going on. So my best bet is if you think you qualify as one of those disabled individuals and you do want to do in-person voting, call them now and make sure you get clarifications. But don't be surprised if you show up on the 28th and they turn you away. They did specify a limited amount. They didn't specify what that limited amount is. There's too many unanswered questions, and I think the safest bet is to fill out the absentee ballot, get it submitted. That way you know your vote is 100% without a doubt counted for. Also, there was a lot of misunderstanding on the postmark date. The postmark date, that when you send out your actual ballot, not the ballot request, you should receive your ballot from the Board of Elections prior to the 27th, and you need to have it back in their hands by the 27th or postmarked by the post office by the 27th. I guess there was a confusion, but I have that right here. It's going to hide my face. Again, this is a new program, but this is straight up from the Secretary of State's website. Yes, this is about the in-person voting. But since Ohioans are being advised to stay home, a new law that allows for limited in-person voting on the 28th. In-person voting will only occur on the 28th and only at boards of elections early voting centers, not at precinct polling locations. And in-person votings will only be available for individuals with disabilities. My question is, what will they classify as disability? Will they consider individuals with diabetes a disability, ADD, asthma, paraplegic? I get what a disability is. My question is, what are they going to consider under their classification as disabled? So I would be really weary, and definitely I want to take it to heart. I don't have that link to show up, but I'll go ahead and pull it up on my screen here, and I'll read about the actual ballot dates actually need to be stamped by. Alright, when does my ballot need to be postmarked? Now keep in mind, this answer is from the Secretary of State. Unless you are a member of the U.S. military currently deployed overseas or an American living abroad, ballots must be postmarked by April 27th, 2020, and received by the Board of Elections by May 8th, 2020, to be counted in the primary if the proper information was provided on the identification envelope. So it's right there. Make sure we have everything postmarked by the 27th. In-person voting is only for individuals who are disabled. What do they classify as disabled? I would probably call them and find out, because what Mahoney County considers classified as disabled individual may not be what Trumbull County is. Again, we know what happens firsthand with the lack of communication, so we make sure that what happens at one county happens to all the others. Right now, we're going to go through a couple questions before I go on some of the news that happened over the next day. How you doing, Michael, Trudy, Johanna, Angel? Jeannie, you said your friend's nephew is in the military, and he called. Here, we'll pop it up. We can show it. All right. National Guard, please shut us down. No, I have not heard anything about National Guard shutting us down. The way things are going from day to day, could that happen? It's a possibility, but I highly doubt it. And if it does, they need to have really, really good circumstances to make that happen. Tom, you said state troopers stopping motorists on. Yeah, you know what? You're not the first one that mentioned actual just law enforcement pulling people over, finding out. That's new to me, as we are allowed to go for drives, we are allowed to go for walks, and we are allowed to go shopping. I haven't seen any restrictions saying we're not even allowed to be on the road. So why they're pulling people over, I can kind of see what they're doing, but I don't. Yes, Angel, this whole election thing is a huge gaggle, and it's confusing a lot of people. That's why I highly suggest you just go get the absentee ballot and fill it in. Because I can see someone who thinks they're classified as disabled call down to the county. The county says, yes, you are disabled. You can come vote on the 28th. And then when you go down there on the 28th, you'll be turned around. I could see that happening, so I would highly suggest just fill it out. We are mailing about 200 plus tomorrow. We'll be mailing out absentee ballots to individuals who have requested it every day. So definitely get them and fill them out. Trudy, you said, from what you heard, they were scouting locations to be able to set up mobile hospitals. That I can see that happening. One of the places I definitely would probably use is definitely the local parks. It's big enough for it. That's what the National Guard mostly is for. I mean, I know I am a Marine, and we all butt heads, but the National Guard, that's what they're there for, humanitarian needs. That's what they primarily do. They help us out, Hurricane Katrina, any type of natural disaster that is happening, or any type of attack that happened like 9/11. They get activated, and they take care of business. Before I go on with these questions, I want to cover one other thing that was said today. If you all watched President Trump talking today, I guess the CDC is now saying, we do recommend you wearing a mask whether you have this disease, you're sick or not. At first they're saying you don't, now they're saying you do. Some are saying the CDC is requiring everybody to do it. Some are saying the CDC is saying it's a recommendation. It is a recommendation. I just watched the president talk. He turned his head to the right, said, well, do you want to clarify it since you're them? And they said, no, you're good. That's the answer. We recommend people doing it, but if you don't, hey, that's on you. Hey, I know it's a pain in the butt to wear them. It hurts my little big flappy ears too when I put them on. But we do. Whatever we can do to keep everyone safe. We definitely, I know this whole situation sucks, but we got to handle it. Johanna, you asked, do I support voter ID? Absolutely. 100%. It doesn't have to be another identification card. It could just be like a little note on your actual driver's license, just like they do with donor cards. You have a little heart saying organ donor. They can do the same thing. They have one that says veteran for veterans. They can pop another little, so they got plenty of space, pop another icon on there saying you are a registered voter. Hi, Bill. Yes, Michael. I mean, I think the CDC as a whole, I mean, I don't think they are completely but the majority of them are. It seems like they're actually out for themselves, and they're kind of giving I don't think they're communicating with each other. Departments need better communication. You're printing out more absentee ballots. Thank you, Angel. I appreciate it. I did sign a letter to let everybody know to alleviate any type of confusion. If you do get one of the absentee ballots from me or my team, the date, the actual election date, is already going to be pre-filled out. Now, I did talk to some of the Board of Elections. They said that regardless of what date you put there, whether it's April 28th, March 17th, or June 2nd, because there was a huge confusion on what's going on, they'll accept any of the dates. But we went ahead and just pre-filled that one part, which March 17th. So that way, there's no newbie sitting there taking the application and they say this is wrong and they throw it out the window and then you don't even get your actual ballot. So we went ahead and pre-marked the March 17th. If you guys don't like that, that's fine. Let us know. We'll send you a complete blank one. We're just trying to help you out to alleviate any type of miscommunication. Now again, as there's a 30-second delay from this new program that I'm using to the comments, I will be, bear with me as I look down so that way I can make sure I cover everything. Jody, Jeffrey, Scott, thanks for joining. Ray, William, Jeff, I appreciate it. Yes, work harder than the others. That's the whole plan. Whether I win or not, I still plan on working just as hard. When I make a promise to me is a promise. I will always be there for everybody. I'll do what I can to help them out. We are delivering groceries to those who are kind of scared and nervous by leaving. Those who have infants and they don't want to take their infant to the grocery store, completely understandable. Definitely how old we are, we're young, we're able to fight it off, we're healthy, but with the young being more susceptible to this and the elderly being more vulnerable to it too, we definitely want to make sure we keep our American citizens safe. So whatever we can do to help out, we will. Angel, you said remember to... Here, I'll pop that on there. You said remember you need to request the absentee ballot. Yes, it is. I have it right there on my alert so everyone knows. How you doing, Trudy? Just so you know, I did make some phone calls about your daughter. Not specifically about your daughter, but the union, about them not having much. And I should get word back, if not today, tomorrow. Again, I don't have the magic wand pull like I would if I was in Congress, but they are looking into it, and they are actively trying to do what they can. My understanding is they have a shipment of supplies. They didn't specify what type of supplies that are supposed to be coming in this weekend. Hopefully the supplies aren't anything that isn't needed, but it is actually toilet paper, the necessities that they need, so let's hope. No need to apologize, Angel. It's fine. We're all stressing. We're all cramped in our house. I had to go to Home Depot twice today. Was building my porch, and some of the wood kind of it bent, so can't use that anymore. So I had to use something different. So with this coronavirus, I know everyone's a little skeptical or nervous about it with all the businesses closed down. Hey, we don't like it anymore than anyone else. I mean, it's day by day. There's really nothing new. We're watching those speeches from DeWine and the Governor Acton. Governor DeWine and his puppet master Acton. But seeing what they say, and they're saying the same thing over and over again. I mean, I understand this is a bad virus. I really do. And I think everyone else understands that too. But we are sick and tired of hearing bad news. And I want to hear the numbers about all the individuals who have it and have recovered. Because to me, if we hear that, that's how we can get the proper data. If we can kind of do the data with those who are infected, those who are cured, still infected, and those who are passed away, we can actually properly adjust what needs to get done. Now, yes, it spreads wholeheartedly, but we need to figure it out. Also, those who have had it and have recovered, their bodies now have the antibodies. So I know I'm not a medical professional, but the CDC and the health department needs to get a hold of those individuals, request that they donate blood so they can create proper medication for this. Everett, you asked, how long does it take them to send a ballot? I've heard it took 14 days for someone to get theirs. I also heard that some of them they got them the next week. I do know You don't have to mail in your absentee ballot request form. You can bring that to the Board of Elections. You can go to the Board of Elections and pick up your absentee ballot request form. You can hand it to them. They won't let you walk in, but there's a security guard that they're still processing those type of things. So you're able to take care of it there if you wanted to. I know a lot of people were kind of nervous about leaving the house, which is why we were willing to mail them to their house. You can request it online. It's not hard, but I understand some people aren't really too computer savvy, hence why you can see that this program is kicking my butt a little bit. But if you need help, we'll be more than willing to help you out. Yes, Alan, we do need some more positive information. It's like they're just trying to kick us down and get us depressed till we kind of give up, put our hands up, say we give up, do what you want. But I don't know about you, but I don't like being told what to do. To a degree, we are Americans. We fought for our freedoms. It's time we actually keep our freedoms. I understand and I respect Dwayne, what he's doing. He's trying to do his best, but at the same point, I'm disappointed in a few things. Hello, Barb. Michael, you said plus those who can do things that others cannot. Yeah, Michael, you said that those who recover can do things that others cannot. I actually read an article from that was sent to me from one of my friends. Is that I guess Germany, what they're doing is they're issuing certificates to those who have already been infected and are better, basically claiming that they are cured and can go about their day. I don't know about you, but I don't think I need a certificate to walk around and go walk my dog. There might be a vaccine if the FDA approves it. My question is, how rushed is that? I mean, I'm all about doing what's right and stuff. I can't even. I'm sorry. With me, I can't trust new things. I mean, I understand vaccines, but if you guys don't want to stick yourself, don't stick yourself with it. I mean, it's new. We never know what's going to happen. The anthrax shot that they gave us in the veterans when we were in the military was supposedly researched, but they even said that, hey, this was rushed through, and we had to sign a waiver saying if anything happens, we're not held liable. And I'm telling you right now, I still get pain in my arms sometimes. So I don't want anything that, and I wouldn't push for anyone to get something that was so rushed through the FDA, and half the time the FDA just does what they want to get the money. So the question is this vaccine even really a vaccine? I can't trust them. We have to have this. We have to move forward. Let's see here. Hey, John. Hey, Gene. Mark, Kayla, Denny, Barb. Again, I'm looking down because there's a little bit of delay, and I'm missing some comments on the program. If I saw my phone, I can see more of them. So, yeah, that's your right, Ellen. I mean, honestly, if you don't do it, I would not push for you to do it, especially when you don't know what it is. So don't get me wrong. I wouldn't. My kids are all vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. But if you're worried about it, then, I mean, I will tell you right now, if this vaccine comes out for the coronavirus, I personally am not going to stick myself yet. Personally yet. Now, if you choose not to, that's your right. Because the second the government storms in your door and starts sticking you with God knows what, that's when we have problems. Do you know how to do the... Denny, do I know how to do the barracks haircut? No, but I do know how to do the, oh bleep, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't cut my hair. And I just shaved my head. That's how it all started. There was one point where I kind of, when you wear your cover, obviously it just sits on your head. Well, I kind of sat it up a little bit high, and all I did was just take a straight razor and just do all the way about because I enjoyed having my hair up here. As you all see, I'm bald, you know, a little stressed out from pulling it out. But no, I don't. Sorry, unless you want me to clip it all. Nurses and doctors will not have a choice. Yeah, they're more strict on everything. Again, whenever a new vaccine comes out, I am a little skeptical about it. I know I completely destroyed that word, but you all know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. All right, for those of you just joined, to let you guys know, there is an alert at the bottom. Make sure that you get your absentee ballot and have it postmarked and filled out before the 27th. So that means don't request your absentee ballot on the 20th and expect you to get it in time to send it back out. I would highly suggest you order it now, get it, request it, let us know. We'll mail you one now, because I have seen people who have said that, hey, it's been 20 days before I got it, 15 days, and if you guys request it on the 17th, and you finally get it on the 27th, well, you need to mail it out that day. Or if you're disabled, as we talked about earlier, and you qualify as that classification as disabled, that the Board of Elections will deem disabled. My question is, will they consider individuals with diabetes disabled? I don't know. With MS disabled? I don't know. Will they consider anyone with ADD, ADHD, who's bipolar or whatever type of disability they have? What will they consider disabled? We don't know. I wouldn't risk it. Get your absentee ballot, fill it out, send it in. That way you know your vote counts. This right here is priority. This election has been the most messed up as it has been in any of the other elections. Now there's several individuals running for office, and look where they're at. I can't even find them. I have one sharing Ben Shapiro comments, taking pictures of their kids while they're in bed, not really doing anything for the people. I got another one who's just doing nothing. And we got a millionaire who's sitting on his butt collecting money, not helping the people. I wish I had his type of money, because I would help the people with it. Hey, Ken. Suzanne, you asked. This comment's not on the program, so I'm going to read it from my phone. You do agree you have to think positive. It plays on your mind, gives you anxiety, and it's not healthy. Tell us about the people who are recovering. Exactly, yeah. There needs to be more positive information in the media. I mean, it's been all over it. This is prior to the coronavirus. They never talked anything positive. It was always negative. It was annoying. It was quite crazy. Someone asked, we're live. This was a new program, so hopefully everything's kicking off right. Let me see here real quick. Bear with me, because again, this is a new program. I set it up differently, so that way I set it up as a future podcast, so that way it showed. Hopefully it did 2 separate posts on Facebook instead of just one, and it's low on everyone's feeds. We want to make sure everyone has a chance to actually ask questions. Let's see here. If anyone's computer savvy, that would be great, because I have a huge gaming computer that just fried out on me, and it would make this program work a heck of a lot better. Yeah, it's on the top. So there we go. All right, we also had another question on, I don't know why I keep getting these questions, but I have no problem. I am a veteran. Served 11 years in the Marine Corps. Somebody wanted proof. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Let me hide my social security number here. Well, this is called DD Form 214. Shows you military service and that you actually retired from whatever branch. For me, United States Marine Corps. It's a proof I served in the United States Marine Corps. Not to mention, I have a certificate of retirement. So if that gentleman wants to hear or see my qualifications, that's happy. I show you my certificate of appreciation, but it's signed by Obama. We don't know who that guy is, so we're not going to show that one. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining. Denny, Tom, Suzanne. But I would like to know how everybody's doing. Anyone got any advice on what to do to pass the time? Again, this is a casual conversation. It doesn't have to always be political. It doesn't have to be negative. Today, for example, I went to Home Depot, got three more pieces of wood so that I could fix my deck. I had to fix my sink. That was fun. Cleaning out my garage. Half my garage is still outside, so I got to move that in after we're done with the podcast. But we're keeping busy. I do have a light that I have to put in. I did get the Iwo Jima sign put on my wall like I told you guys I would. So I was able to do that. So, I mean, this is a perfect chance to just get things done. Make it worth it. I understand it's horrible. It stinks. No one likes to be cramped at home. But, hey, let's make good with what we got. This obviously is not going to last forever, we hope. If it does, definitely elect individuals in office. How you doing, Matthew? Elect individuals in office that you know will do everything in their power to give our rights back. You know, it was Benjamin Franklin, I believe it was, that said this. But the moment that we give up our freedoms for safety, we don't deserve either. I get it. Certain restrictions got to be put in place. But at what point do we say, hey, we need them back? I know I'm not a doctor, and I do trust doctors, some of them. Not Governor Acton. I mean, I'm sorry. She's not the governor. But which ones do we listen to? My doctor is telling me I'm fine. He's like, listen, you go about your day. You should be able to go about your day. Just take precautions like you would any other day. Wash your hands. Wear your mask, and you'll be fine. Suzanne, you doing a lot of cooking? But yeah, you should be fine. Hand sanitizer. These are things we should be doing anyways. Even when this crisis the fire gets put out, I don't think it'll ever be gone. I think it'll be a while for this virus to be 100% gone. But I don't think that we should be restricted to our homes to just going to work and back, and these restaurants that are closed stay closed forever. I mean, it's devastating to our economy. It is going to take years for it to rebuild. No, I do trust Trump. I do trust his administration, and I know he will do everything in his power to rebuild our economy. I mean, look what he's done in already 3 years from the devastation that Obama did in 8 years. He's done a great job, and he has a lot of strong individuals behind him, and we need to make sure we get rid of those weak ones and give him more strong individuals that will work with him for the people so that our lives improve. I consider myself one of those people that will support him and his administration as long as he's got the best interests of the people at heart. And right now he does. He's never shown me otherwise. Hey, Dean. Trudy, Mike. Let's see here. One of the things I'll do is, I haven't really brought up lately, but Tim Ryan was looking at some of his bills that he sponsored and co-sponsored. But one, he's only sponsored 174 bills. We all know only 3 of those have passed. Now, his last bill that he's actually sponsored was in December, before this crisis occurred. So what has he been doing since then? He's been sitting back collecting a paycheck. Another thing I want to talk about is what Congress is really doing. Has anyone ever really been on the website and looked at these bills? Because there are so many contradictory, or so many bills that contradict each other. It's amazing that anything gets done. You have John submitting a bill for, and I'm using this as an example, for veterans to have more pay. And then you're going to have another Susie Sally over here pushing a bill so veterans have an increase in pay. More pay, increase in pay. It's the same thing, but if one gets passed, the other one gets affected. If this one gets passed, then this one's going to get affected. What if they pass both? They're pretty much going to mesh against each other, and things aren't going to improve. So there's obviously a lack of communication amongst even the parties themselves, because you have these Democrats and Republicans submitting bills, and it's not Democrat and Republican. It's Democrat and Democrat and Republicans' bills contradicting each other. So there's no communication at all. One of the things I plan on doing is when I get in office, before I submit any type of bill, I will confer with my other Republican Party members and say, hey, are you guys planning anything like this? If it is, then let's co-sponsor a bill together, because I think that's what it's meant for, and let's work as a team for the better of the people. Let's not you make your bill, I'll make our bill, and let's hope for the best. That's not how it works. It's a waste of resources, waste of money, and a waste of time. I could be focusing on problem A, he could be focusing, or she could be focusing on problem B, instead of us both focusing on our own way to fix A. It's ridiculous. I will go to a question here. Could you imagine how bad off we would be going into this accidental virus with the previous economy? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know our yesterday I looked at it. It was yesterday. It was our GDP. In 5 weeks, we lost 10%. 10%. We lost it because of this whole mess. But right now, if you look at it, what the good thing is, we're not even at the level of Obama right now. We're not. Our economy is not even there. So Trump has done so well. And the only reason why we are not declining so fast is because how well Trump and his administration has done. Now, we will eventually get below that threshold, but if it wasn't for him, we would be devastated beyond belief. Too late, Timmy should have been put in the unemployment line 18 years. Hey, you know, I put it out there. I had no problem. I wanted to see if he actually would work for a living. I told him, I was like, hey, come on down. Work with me for a week. Let's see if you actually know how to work for a living. Show the people you know what needs to get done. He's never worked a day in his life. He doesn't know what it's like to work. I don't think he knows what it's like to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I think that's when he goes to bed because he's too busy going out to their to the bars, not doing what needs to get done. Hey, Mark, Becky, Carl, Joseph, Reggie, thanks for joining. Yes, Barb, Trump is an amazing POTUS. If anyone sees me looking down, it's because some actual comments don't appear on my program, so I got to look at them on my phone. I don't want to miss any questions anyone has. Again, if I do miss a question, do not threat. I do review this entire thing and make sure I don't miss anything. And if I did, I will bring it back up on the next live stream. Dean, you said, let's see here. If you have the funds, buy stocks now. The market, yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm not an expert in the stock market, but I mean, I agree. Occasionally, I'll do options. I'll buy calls and puts. Man, I can't talk. Those work out better. It's more safer than buying 120-cent stock and it increases a penny. Doesn't do much, but you can buy a lot more doing options. Again, I'm not an expert. Talk to an accountant on how to trade. I have my way of doing it. I'm not a millionaire, but then again, if I can offer any piece of advice for trading, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So just make sure you keep going. You know, it's a long road. Tim the Bearman, Ryan. Yes, I like to call him Tim Crying Lion Ryan. He likes to cry when things don't go his way, and he likes to lie about it when it doesn't go his way, like with GM. I don't even blame GM on Obama. It happened before him, or it started before him. But then again, Ryan wanted to blame Trump for it. It's not. It's Ryan is more reactive than proactive, and we definitely need to bring the businesses back to the community. Hey, Andy, Tim, Keith. Kelly, you asked, can anything be done about rescheduling the primaries in Ohio, or is it officially canceled? It was until last week. It was all complicated. So basically, the primary is over. They just extended the acceptance that they'll accept absentee ballots. However, Kelly, now just you have to listen to this whole thing. On the 28th, there is a limited amount of in-person voting that they are going to allow. That's only for disabled individuals and those without a home address. Now, what is that limit? I don't know. They're not specifying. What are they going to classify as disabled? I don't know. Are they going to classify someone with diabetes as disabled? I don't think so. So my best bet is call. Find out if you think you qualify as an individual who is disabled and can go in-person voting. Call. But then again, how much can you actually trust that? Because look what happened. They said they were going to be open on the 16th. They said on the 16th, they said, we're going to be open. That evening, DeWine started to play his little masquerade party, and then it ended up being canceled. Well, not canceled. He just closed down the buildings that had the polls. Now, the date never got rescheduled until the Democrats did a lawsuit for the 28th for absentee ballot only. So I highly suggest that even though it says you can do in-person voting if you're disabled, but they're only going to do a limited amount of individuals. My question is, what are those? What's that amount, and what will they classify as disabled? And even if they say, "Hey, Kelly, you're fine. You classify as disabled. You can come down and do in-person voting." You show up on the 28th, and they turn you around, even though you talked to somebody else and they said you're fine. It's too late. Now, could you have handled it 2-3 days later? Probably, but they're not going to let you vote because you missed out, and you can't do absentee ballot because it has to be postmarked by the 27th. So I think the best bet, I truly believe, is to go ahead, get that absentee ballot, submit it in, because worst case scenario, they're just going to wipe their hands and say, it's over, whatever the numbers are the numbers. I could be wrong, but look what they've done already. I'll put this up here. So you saw someone from DoorDash. She picked up food from Five Guys. She had no gloves on. Yeah, be careful, guys. If you guys order food, I mean, I get it. I do have a lot of delivery drivers that are friends. They too take the precautions because they care about their people. But just be courteous. If you grab the bag from somebody, definitely open up the bag, rip it open, wash your hands before you actually grab the food. Where did that go? GM was slowly shutting down when they shut down their van. They were. So we all knew it was coming. So that's why I was a little upset, Dean, about Tim Ryan, is when I wasn't here in Ohio when it all originally started. I didn't get here until 2010. But when I talked to the GM workers, they were saying, hey, they're bringing in equipment that has nothing to do with what they're building. They got rid of the third shift. They're not repairing the equipment that they needed. They were pretty much duct taping everything together. That's a big flag to say something's going on. And I truly believe that what the plan was to get rid of all the union, high-paid, high-benefit workers out of the building, bring in a skeleton crew, low wage, low benefits, more money in the CEO's pocket. I think that was the game plan from the beginning. Tom, I didn't instigate that. I mean, I didn't say he has a drinking problem, but he does drink a lot. I'm not worried about him. Wants to do it, that's fine. I'm not saying he's an alcoholic, but he doesn't look right on half the time he talks. Now, whether he's got a medical issue, I really hope him the best, and I hope he gets better. But, you know, people around the area talk. I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to be rude to Tim, but he needs to remove his head from his behind and actually work for the people. And for the amount of garbage he's been spitting at our president, I think the fact that if I'm going to call him an alcoholic, that's nothing compared to what he's done to our president. That's been there for the people of the Valley. All right, Michael, he said, new line discovered in... Is that a joke, Michael? Hi, Andy, he said, hola, amigo. Everyone's clicking like on your Facebook land page. This one's a little long for me to show up on my screen, so I'll read it. Hola, amigo. Everyone is clicking like on your Facebook land page and boldly going to the community option to share to all their friends and families onward to easy victory. Thank you. Yeah, definitely share this video. Let everybody know Be more than happy to answer any questions, whether it's political or what I did today or what size shoe I wear or whatever it is. I want you guys to know me. One, definitely what my plan is when I get to Congress, what I stand for, and is who I am as a person. Because that's what's really important. Anyone can spit out political BS, excuse my language, all day long. But until you guys actually know who I am and what I'm about, that's when you will know I'm sincere in what I am actually talking about. Jealous, do you know how lucky you are? Wedgwood Pizza. We come to Medina, Austin once a month. Coming to meet. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was definitely kind of you to say that. Yeah, if you're ever in the area, let me know. We can have a poker game 6 feet apart. I don't cheat on poker. You know? Nikki, thanks for joining. Matthew, Don, Kelly, thank you. I check for Trump. We are the red wave. We are sending it. Thank you, Indy, for your support. I appreciate it. Mr. Denny, thank you. Rick, thank you for coming. Again, if you guys don't know, I don't see who joins on my the new program. I have to check my phone. So if I look down, just at least I'm wearing my hat. You don't have to look at my bald head. Carl, Tim, Keith, Regis. Simplify, Don. Johanna asked about how I feel about bringing manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. I think I've mentioned this on every single one of my podcasts. We definitely need to bring manufacturing jobs back to the States. We don't have to pretty much create the amount that we get from overseas, because I understand the world economy is just as important as our nation's economy, but the U.S. is is number one. All right. So if we had a facility that created, again, I'm just throwing numbers out there so you all can understand. We have a facility that has the capability of creating 100 gloves, but only creates 10 a day. That's fine. Creates 10 a day. Let's get the other 90 from different countries, help out the world economy. But if we have a situation like we're in right now, we're not looking at other countries. We can tell that business that's okay, has the capability of building that 100, because what that will do is now it's bringing in more jobs because they hire more people. It's keeping the money here in our state, so that way our economy, when it starts going down, it doesn't go down fast like it jumped off a cliff. It's more like a hill, and eventually it'll be easier to slide back up. Definitely one thing I definitely want to get out of China is our pharmaceuticals. I mean, I don't like the fact that any of them are solely being created in China. I think that it's ridiculous. Me and my wife already talked about it. We're done. We are now buying American made. We tried to do that already, but now we're going to be extra vigilant and making sure that we only get stuff that's American made. I definitely think we need to do that. Thank you. Yes. No, I agree, Michael. Most essential goods have to be made here. I think it's about time we start bringing it back. I understand Trump's administration was trying to do that, or they are doing that, especially with the tariffs. They're taxing if businesses want to leave. Fine, go ahead, leave, but we're going to tax you. I think it's a good idea. It's more of an incentive to keep people here. We definitely need to get a hold of our life-saving meds and manufacturings. Yes, Dean, I agree. I'm reading your comment, Tom. Hey, you know what, Tom? That's a great question. You know what? And I think President Trump has said this several times. He's not perfect. No one in any elected or anyone in any seat is perfect. They make mistakes. Am I going to hold one mistake that, yeah, it was kind of devastating, but do I think his intention was to deceive us? No. He had his best intentions. He fought for the Valley. He did everything he can to keep that promise, but when it came down to it, he was unable to. I don't hold it against him. Was I a little upset? I was upset. But you know what? he's doing his best, and he wasn't just ignoring us. He didn't say it to despite us. He didn't say it saying, "Hey, keep that stuff going. Don't worry about it." And then he went back to his palace and started playing poker and just ignored us. No, he was fighting for us every single day, all day, every day. Unlike our current congressman, Tim Ryan, who hasn't been. So, am I a little upset that they didn't work out? Yes, but nothing ever really fully works out 100% of the time. We got to take the good with the bad. Bob, you said you work in healthcare. You're amazed. Yeah, it's great, Barb. It is. There's a lot of businesses that are altering what they're manufacturing, what they're creating. That pillow guy, the My Pillow, he stopped making pillows. Now he's making masks, like the actual N95 ones. Now, why isn't the media pushing that message? I have not seen a single network say we should buy only. I really think that their interest is elsewhere, Michael. That's probably why they're not pushing that. I like to ask, that's one question I want to ask you. Has anyone heard in the media how this election is going down? I haven't heard one news station say anything about the absentee ballots. I haven't heard Fox News, WFMJ, WKBN. I haven't heard any of them regularly say, "Hey, absentee ballot, get out there and vote." You don't see it. I think I'm the only one. I don't even see the other candidates doing it. It's like they don't care. They gave up. Which goes to what I was saying earlier before all this gaggle happened. They're ghosting. What happens when most candidates lose an election? They ghost, they leave, they don't keep their promises. If I lose, I'm going to be pissed, but I'm still going to fight for each and every single one of you, and I'll be the thorn in that candidate's side to make sure they keep their promise to you. People still buying Chinese steel and foreign cars. We definitely need to start holding the other countries accountable. They're always asking us for help, and we're always there helping. Increasing our debt, helping other countries, but really don't see them helping us as much as we help everybody else. I think it's time that we slow that down quite a bit, maybe quite a bit, and actually focus on America. And let's improve America before we start improving anyone else. It's a scenario. My half-sister, Debbie, she used this analogy. You guys ever been on an airplane? They say, hey, when the air mask drop, you got to put it over yourself first, then put it on the person next to you if they're having trouble. Because what's going to happen if you start putting on a person next to you that's having trouble? They can't even put it on themselves. By the time you get it on them, you passed out. You can't help anyone else out. And they can't help you out because they couldn't even get their own mask on. That's why you put your own mask on, you make sure you're fine, then you're capable of helping everybody else out. It's the same concept. We need to help out America first, and then we can help everybody else out. But we can't help anyone pretty much negatively affecting America. It's a little long for me to put on there, but I will read that. Remember, we have a surplus of youth that won't work unless it involves fruit smoothies and cell phones. To facilitate the employment level, we will need qualified foreign labor and deep immigration reform. Putting this back in the box isn't going to be easy or quick. It won't be easy. We used to lead by example. Now we are to import junk that's fast and cheap. Shame. Yeah, I remember when I grew up, the toys I had when I was little, they're still intact. They're strong. They were American made. Now everything's all cheaply made and it lasts like 2 days. Because the CEO greed. It is greed. Tom, those are websites for American-made stuff. I appreciate you sharing that. I'll look into it. Thank you. Jim, thanks for joining. Don, I must have missed your comment on my thing, but yes, most people won't vote because of the virus. They won't go. That's why they're doing the absentee ballot. That's why I'm saying don't hold your breath with that whole in-person voting that's only for a limited amount of disabled individuals. And what will the Board of Elections classify as disabled? I don't know if they'll classify diabetes as disabled, even though it is. I get it. But what will they classify? We don't know. Mr. Denny, you asked, what can we do to help inform voters to take a Republican absentee ballot and vote for you? Just get the word out there. Let them know, hey, request your absentee ballot. Yes, dear.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm saying
You're saying hi? My wife's trying to make me lose my bearing. The best thing I could do, say, James, is get the word out there. Let them know, hey, look what's going on. Look at your current elected officials. What are they doing? You like this guy. He is a Republican. You have to grab a Republican ticket. Just let them know. I'll be more than happy to drop it off at their house. We'll mail it to them. We'll show them how to get it. We'll make sure they get it printed off. We'll do whatever we can to help them out. But mostly word of the mouth. It is. If anyone has a contact over the media, let them know. I've tried calling them the last couple of days saying, hey, how come you guys aren't expressing this absentee ballot? They're not talking about it. It's like no one knows. I talked to somebody last Saturday when I was volunteering at the Our Community Kitchen in downtown Youngstown. They still thought the election was June 2nd. They listen to the news every day, and they haven't heard one word or one whisper of it. So we definitely need to get out there, let these people know when the election properly is, when they have to have the absentee ballot actually filled out and stamped, and who to vote for. Gina, you said if we don't use this as the straw that broke the camel's back is now our own fault. We must force the powers that be to get the message. Yeah, America first, I mean, we're on the same page. We talk like literally daily, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. But yeah, it has to be America first. And as we talked about before, we do understand the world economy is just as important, but we need to focus on America first. Just like one of the other candidates, he made the comment of, and I'll find it because I want to make sure I'm not misquoting, but basically this is what he said. I am so flabbergasted. He's like, this is how we can solve terrorism. Send money to them. We could stop terrorism by sending money to the kids over there. Let's help them get educated. Let's help them get their medical so they won't become terrorists. We've asked them, why are we going to send money to a different country to help their kids when we have our own kids that are desperately needing that? When we have our own education system that needs to be rebuilt. We have our own homeless problem. We have an opioid epidemic issue going on. We have our own medical issues. But he wants to send money overseas to help these individuals not become terrorists, who are already of age, considered adults, and have already shot at their own men. He couldn't answer. He kept saying, we need to help them, we need to help them. Gino, you know who I'm talking about. But he needs to just drop out of the race because America first, our kids first. I will never turn my back on anybody. I do understand the importance of helping other countries, but I'm not going to send another country $5 million when that $5 million can get these homeless off the streets in Mahoning Valley and many more. Thank you, Dean. Michael, you think it's okay? Barb, you asked how you can get an absentee ballot. The best way to get an absentee ballot is to go on the Secretary of State's website, click the appropriate links. I'll send you a link here after this video so that way you know which one to go to. You can call them. They'll send one to you. Or if you just want to send me your address, we will mail one to you. No cost to you. We'll just mail it to you. You fill it out. You have to send it to your Board of Elections, whether you're in Mahoning, Trumbull, Cuyahoga, Portage, Stark, Summit, wherever you're at. That's the county you have to send it to. And then they'll send you your ballot. I agree, Dean. Yes, Michael, they do. I won't get into details, but yeah, they started me young at like 4. Literally, that's how they're growing. I mean, you can't do anything. We raise our kids to be who they are. They raise their kids to be who they are. We can't. You're not going to take my 15-year-old and pretty much change the way he thinks. It's not going to happen. He's 15. His mind is his mind. Now he'll learn and he'll grow and he'll adjust, but his basic core moral values are already instilled in his body. Anytime, Bob. Yep. All right, so I know a lot of people came in and go, so I'll cover this again. The voting, as you guys see down here, let me get rid of this. The voting, you have to have your absentee ballot in your hand. So if you have a request form or you need one, let me know. We'll send it to you so you can fill it out. Send it to your Board of Elections. They'll send you a ballot, and that ballot you get has to be postmarked by the 27th. Otherwise, it will not be counted. It's on the Secretary of State's website. There's some miscommunication on it has to be the 28th. No, it has to be the 27th. Now, they can change that. They've been changing everything every day. Every 2 minutes, they've been changing something. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll change it to May. Next thing you know is the primary will happen November 2nd, the day before the general election. There is real, pay attention though, the in-person voting that's going on the 28th is for a limited amount of individuals, and it's only for those that are classified as disabled or do not have a home address. Now, what are they going to classify as disabled? You're going to have to call them. And you better hope the best. If you think you qualify as those that can go to the 28th and in-person vote and they turn you around, it's too late to even fill out an absentee ballot. So I wouldn't risk it. Go get your ballot, fill it out, mail it to them. I don't trust it just as much as anyone else, but I definitely wouldn't trust doing the 28th, because who knows if they're going to postpone that or they're just going to wash their hands and say whatever's in is in. Hey, Bob, Chris, thanks for joining. Sandra, Andrew, Keith, Barbara, Carl. Again, I apologize for not saying hi to you earlier on this new program. I don't see who joins. I got to look at my phone. We will get used to this program. I think a lot of people like it. I can pull up a little bit of notifications. Let you guys know I can put out my weekly quote. If ever a time should come when vain and aspiring men shall possess the highest seats in government, our country will stand in need of its experienced patriots and prevent its ruin. That's from our founding father, Samuel Adams. And no, he's not just a beer, but he is a founding father. And I think it's really important because if anyone knows, there's an influx in veterans that are running for office than there have been over the last decade. The reason being is our patriotism. We have the honor, courage, and commitment. Our integrity is above approach. And we don't take, excuse my language, but we don't take crap from nobody. And when we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. I plan on working for the people and only the people. When I push legislation or I vote, whether I vote yes or no, it's going to be because it's going to benefit the people. If a Democrat comes to me with a good piece of legislation that's going to benefit the Valley, District 13, I will help him. If a Republican comes to me with something that's going to devastate this area, I'm going to tell him to go pound sand. I won't help him. I'll say, hey, this is not good. Here's why. Here's an option that we can do, that we can adjust it. Because, again, communication is key. And if you ever don't like something, you always have a solution to it. Collier County Board, thank you for letting them know that too, Matthew. Appreciate it. Donnie says, I'm thankful to live in the country during this. Yeah, I mean, Don, you said, let's see if I can find your comment in my, you said, I'm sorry, it's not on my program, but that you were thankful to live in the country during this quarantine. Has anyone heard what North Korea is doing? Has anyone looked at the dots for the world? North Korea has no dots, and we all know why. They're not giving us any numbers, and they're shooting anyone that has their COVID-19. And people are complaining about being restricted to their house, but they still can go grocery shopping. They can go visit their friends. You know, they shouldn't, but they are. They have live stream. We can communicate with each other. But that's what North Korea is doing. A lot of people are comparing the numbers to China. China is not giving us accurate numbers. I understand it's important to have good relations with our other countries. However, how much can we actually trust China? I mean, look what they've done. And I've said this every single stream. They poison our dog food, poison our baby formula. They put lead. Please stop looking at me. You're going to make me lose my bearing.
I'm going to make sure you don't forget the lead in the paint.
The lead in the paint. Whenever my wife, there's only one person in this world that can make me lose my bearing, and it's my wife. Because she'll just stare at me like this, look, like this. And I just lose it.
Sorry.
So can you,
Sorry.
she's going to. But yeah, we got to be careful with China. Because they put lead paint in our kids' face paint. They have no regulations. We have our regulations. We let them know what they are, but they don't follow them. I was in South Korea for 8 months. As much as they were on being strict on their rules and the regulations and the laws, they were really strict on everything. It worked. The people were happy and they were content. Thank you, Ellen. They did. I heard that they did that, Dean. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't put it past them. We definitely need to make sure we need to be happy that we are in the country that we're in. It's great. I don't like what's going on now either, but a lot of people might be talking about like a new world order or the government's going to take control. We're going to become, this is the way to create socialism, but they don't understand that you have a lot of Americans like me in their basement just waiting for the word. Because if socialism tries to take control of this country, the military can sit back, put their feet up, and watch every single American citizen stop it from happening. Because the Americans have more firepower than the military combined. Now, yeah, they don't have tanks or anything like that, but if you do the actual numbers, they do. They're gangs, for crying out loud. You got the Blood, the Cribs, you got all those gangs. They have more firepower than than the military as well. So I would not worry about someone trying to take over this country. Some people say it's a bioweapon. I'm not off that idea because it did start in China, and especially it happened like what? It started like 10, 15 days after we assassinated some terrorists. Not assassinated, but we assassinated them. That guy, can't pronounce his name, who started the head chopping, was assassinated, deserved to die because he killed Americans in the most heinous way possible. He started the whole thing when the Taliban, when 9/11, all that stuff started happening. If anyone knows anything about the military, we got Humvees. Alright, so we got a weapon on the top, got a military member up there looking, walking around. Well, this guy took razor sharp wire from one end to the street to the other. Perfect height. What do you think happened to a lot of military members? They got decapitated. This is how sick this guy was. So yes, we assassinated him. I'm proud the president did it. I'm glad he didn't let Congress know because we had the Democrats that were going to slip it to them so they can run away and hide. So I'm proud they did it. Now, this happened. This virus is happening. How long afterwards? So it is kind of suspicious. But I don't want to go all conspiracy theory. But again, I'm not up there. I don't have the information that all these other congressmen have. I really wish I did. And if I did, I would relay it to you. So you all know what's going on. Because the number one thing is, every single one of you will be my boss. You don't work for me. I work for you. And everyone up there in Washington, D.C. has forgotten that. We work for you. The people don't work for Congress. Because last time I checked, Reagan said it best. We are a nation with a government. We are not a government with a nation. So the fact that our government is trying to take powers away from the states is ridiculous. We need to stand up, elect individuals in office who are willing to give that power back. The Department of Education is one of them. The second that the government took their hands and put it in the pot, we went from the top 5 in literacy to the 27th. I believe it was Carter. I might be wrong, but it was 1977 when the Department of Education was formed. We went from the top 5 to the 27th. Obviously, it wasn't working. We sure went back to the way it was. Haven't heard from the UN lately? No. I want out of the UN. I mean, those stories about them wanting to come and take the weapons from Virginia. I mean, if you guys haven't noticed, it's one thing right after another. The impeachment to impeachment to impeachment to impeachment to impeachment to impeachment to all this other gaggle that the Democrats want to do. And then the weapons, with us having to do sanctuary cities for the guns. That's not working. And then the union was talking about coming in. It's like, it's one thing, it's another. And it's always the day after it happens, we forget about everything that's happened. So what's going on with Virginia? Are they still trying to take their weapons? What happened to our Second Amendment rights? Are they still trying to take those away? They're trying to get our minds off something else. We need people in office to make sure that when something else new comes up, we don't forget about everything else. Have you looked at the bills that are being passed on at Congress right now? A lot of them are contradictory. They contradict each other, and they're pretty much one and the same. However, they have little minute differences. So if one gets approved and the other one gets approved, it just completely throws out the other one, which tells me that these individuals in office are not communicating with each other. Hey, Sharon. John. Colleen, thank you for joining. All right, we ran a little bit over. I'm not okay with it. I got no problem running over the time. The only way that we'll get my phone is they will have to pry it from my left hands. I don't think it will come down to that, James, but you and 98% of the American people are on board with that. Yeah, the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's a right. It's a constitutional right. It was set in place by our founding fathers to ensure we do not become the very thing that we fought against in the American Revolution. Now, with that being said, we already talked about the voting. I want to wrap it up here real quick. If you guys have any other questions that pop up, I'll answer it on Monday. Don't threat. But we talked about the voting. Everyone knows. Absentee ballot, request it now because it has to be postmarked by the 27th for it to count. The in-person voting is only for disabled individuals, and they're only limiting it. They're not throwing a number out there. They're not saying what type of disabilities. My suggestion is you call them and don't hold what they say to heart. I would just fill out the absentee ballot, get it done and over with, because chances are they're going to cancel that so-called limited in-person voting, and they're just going to wash their hands and say what is what is. The CDC made it very clear. They suggest you wear your mask now. Be safe. If anyone knows of anyone that needs help getting their groceries, their medications, or any need whatsoever, let us know. My team and I have been more than happy to go out there, do the shopping for you. We'll take the precautions. We'll wear a mask. We'll wear gloves. There does not have to be any type of contact. All we ask is you pay for the food. You don't have to worry about gas or anything like that. So with that being said, I am proud of each and every single one of you, and I definitely appreciate everyone's support, because I could not do this if it wasn't for you. With that, thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.